Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Chair Yoga. Today, we're going to start off with some comments that I wrote in my journal about, some basic principles that we often visit. And so I think you'll catch on right away kind of what direction we're headed in terms of sort of philosophy or sort of inspiration for our class, some way to focus your meditation or your inquiry, your inner work that you do. So let's begin. So sit up nice and tall so you start to feel yourself transitioning, that you can feel how your body is starting to, adjust, balance itself out, find your place of right alignment, sit up taller with, good posture in mind. And let's just open up the our thinking so that we can maybe be a little more expansive today. uh, um, the, the the structure I like to reference is from the Buddhist tradition about what's basic in terms of human need. And the Buddhist tradition organizes itself this way: that there is the dharma, and the dharma is considered like your life's purpose. Then there is the sangha, which is the community, like what we have formed. The sangha is relationship. So there's your life's purpose, dharma, sangha, the importance and value and need for community, connection. And then finally, Buddha, which just simply translates as enlightenment or the enlightened one, if you're looking at personification there, but it's just enlightenment. So that's the structure. And I think it's a good one for us to just sort of, consider. And we're going to zero in on relationship, and relationship today based on self, relationship to yourself. So here's some thoughts that I had. I just jotted down, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my notes. What is dharma? It's God's will for you. I think everyone or every human has the dharma of being a light worker, that is, loving unconditionally. That perhaps light and unconditional love are one and the same. How does one come to a place in their humanity where unconditional love is even possible, or that they actually know it? My best guess is by starting with the human being you spend your whole life, every second of every day, with yourself. So the work of Dharma is a lifelong process and varies from person to person as to how they make the attempt, but in every human, the answer is love. So we've been focusing on that in this class, just this idea of unconditional positive regard, of love being, I've got it on my notes here, our life's purpose is to love and be loved. And Thich Nhat Hanh, guided us with his wisdom of saying, that to do that, you've got to get present and you've got to bring yourself into the body. Let yourself drop in to the body. So embodiment practices such as yoga are kind of the key to finding our way to our personal dharma of loving and being loved. So with that in mind, let's just close the eyes if you haven't done it already. I'll join you on the chair and we'll begin our process. I'm going to encourage you to have palms down on your lap, palms down on your thighs, so that we can feel a sense of grounding now. And whenever it comes to mind, to embody this idea of welcoming and seeking our path in our personal dharma of loving and being loved, that we just ground ourselves in that. We just kind of feel ourselves into our body. Maybe we bring our hand to our heart. But this can be done throughout the day, anytime, any place, that, we're just trying to find our center again, find our bearings when we get frustrated, when we get anxious, which is kind of a common experience these days. Whenever those kind of unsettling experiences come our way that we can ground ourselves. And so, hands to the body is a good one for us to just make that connection. So, let's begin that, lifting up the chest so we can feel our whole body expand. And yet we feel our connection with our legs, with our hands there, and we can feel that all the way down into the soles of our feet. Now find the rhythm within you. What's that rhythm? The rhythm of the breath, probably our first way we can connect to that. But there's all kinds of processes going on in our body, some really phenomenal scientific research nowadays that we can access that is just incredibly connected to the very ancient study of the body through the eyes of the yoga tradition. It's just phenomenal what science has been able to prove. But anyway, there's a rhythm in the body, and we can most easily access it by finding our way to our breath. And by bringing your awareness to it, it deepens. We have a stronger breath because we've become aware of it. Pull the belly in. So from the navel area, you're pulling in so you can feel the engagement of your abdominal wall. So you feel really strong and purposeful about the way you're sitting. And when we flip our hands to turn palms up, let's float them above the legs so we're not laying our back of our hands on, but instead we're opening to receive with our hands elevated. Can you feel the difference of that? I really can. Open to receive the benefits, the blessings of this practice. And now we zero in personally on our particular intention for class, the why of being here right now. Remember to finish your exhale. And so it is. Let's open our eyes now and begin our process. We're going to begin the movement so we can feel expansion in the body in just about every way possible. Inhale, if you will, just lifting those hands up, reaching for the sky. Exhale as you come down. I got blocked between my thighs, but I want you to put it wherever it gives you the best reference into your body. You don't have to always follow my lead. We're just using the block in the way that it connects us to the central channel, and that connects us into more engagement of the body in some way, particularly your legs. I'm flowing through an inhale, exhale of vinyasa as we just move through the shoulder joints. So the spine is pretty stationary here, head, neck, and spine in alignment. And this will warm up the body. Remember to exhale completely. And remember, you're following your breath, not movement of my arms. So you're just not going to zero in on the screen. You're zeroing in on the experience you've got inside of you. See if you can add a little more pulling. I'm going way back when I come up, and I'm trying to do the same thing when I go down, pushing back. So it seems more expansive. And I can certainly feel it as a stretch through the whole trunk of the body. A little longer than normal, right? Stay with it. See if you can let those shoulder blades relax down the back. Lift up now. Inhale here. Exhale T. So you're opening into a T, and you're going to flatten out your hands. Thumb is pointing behind you, so that means you got to really rotate your arms. Take a look at one arm and then the other, or one hand and then the other. Press your feet to the floor so you feel the support of that. And stay with each side as long as you need to. And remember to go back because we're going to be here a bit. So as you're extending those arms, use the strength of your whole body to keep those arms elevated. And we found ways we can do that. Push your feet to the floor, make sure your abdominal wall is engaged. You're intentionally feeling some expansion through your rib cage. All of that's going to support those extended arms so that you can go side to side, turning your head, stretching your neck. If you're like me, one side needs a whole lot more attention than the other. So you want to linger there. You want to work it out for yourself. Come back to center. We'll turn our hands to face forward. Let's open and close. So just reach way back. That's our open. And then exhale, close. That's when we round the back body and we bring palms together in front. Arms are fully extended, opening and closing, and you're into the back now. Try to exaggerate the movement through the spine from very expanded to rounding and sort of closing down into a dome shape. So your head is moving, the whole spine is moving, you're moving your neck, you're rounding through, pulling the belly button in, and then feeling it open right back up. Big breath in, full breath out. And then let's just come back to neutral. Let's start with some, go into some shoulder rolls. So we're moving the shoulders together. Both shoulders are rolling back and down. Keep hands on the lap just to make it a little bit easier. Exaggerate the movement. Lift your whole, every time you're lifting those shoulders up, you're kind of lifting up your rib cage. We're going to stay with the same shoulder roll, the same direction of the shoulder roll, but we're going to just move one shoulder at a time. A little more coordinated effort, a little more mindfulness. Be sure to exhale completely. I can't tell you that enough. Now, notice, if you will, that there's ability to turn your head with this. That as you roll the shoulder back, the invitation is there to turn your head to go with it. And I want you to take that up. Take it up. Move yourself so your shoulder roll brings you into a turn of the head. Do you notice how I'm just noticing my legs are kind of walking here because I can feel it with what's happening with the block. Interesting, huh? So you can just feel how your legs are also kind of taking part in this because the block tips us off. All right, that's wonderful. Now we're going to squeeze and release that. Squeeze and release. And now I'll just take a look. Let's just extend those arms again at the T shape. I'm going to flip palms up. You could do it the other way if that's more accessible to you. See if it made any difference in terms of your range of movement or your ease of movement. Let's call it that. Yeah, a little bit. Let's sync up the breath. Inhale, palms are together overhead. Inhale, big lift. Exhale, bow to your heart. Inhale up and exhale just straight on down. We're coming back here. Now really feel it in your back. Even though there's no movement per se, you're not trying to move the vertebrae of the spine, for example. You can sure feel the muscles that support your spine when you move your arms. Let's bring palms together. Actually, let's clasp our hands. So we're clasping the hands up and overhead. So it's like you're binding your hands together, and see if you can do a little lean. No change in the pelvis. So if you start to feel yourself listing up on that side, you got to just plant it back there and just start to isolate the movement more from the waistline up. I like to lean my head, sort of leaning into the arm. It just feels like I've got a lot of support for my head and neck that way. Now deepen the breath. Come back to center, find our way to the other side. Try to extend your arms with no bend in the elbow or as little bend as possible. We're keeping our hands bound. No listing. Make sure your pelvis is staying balanced left to right, right to left. You do the same thing again on the other side. Manage the weight of your head. Breathe through your breath cycle. Other side. Beautiful. Let's come out of that, lift up, and we're going to land in the goddess position. So we've got elbows bent. Let's just drop those hands down and bring them up. So into different muscles of the arms. Just find a nice rhythm. This doesn't have to necessarily be connected with your inhale and exhale. Just a nice movement that you can support with your breath. Let those shoulder blades stay down. You just kind of keep that awareness of that. You're not trying to invite, this crowding up. The shoulders want to crowd up around our neck toward our ears. We're just keeping that in check. When we release it, go slow so that you can just feel the shift, how holding your arms up for so many movements here, so much of the time we've had our arms in motion, that when we bring them back into a very neutral position, you're like, oh, you can really feel that release and relief. Let's get rid of the block for now so we can take a wider stance, opening up your feet wider. Heels are in, toes are pointing out. Let's circle a little bit so we can kind of loosen up through the pelvis, feel that fluid nature as you shift your weight through the pelvis. I like to keep elbows kind of squeezing in toward the waist. Let's work on the perineum. So the next time we're in that middle position, we've got ourselves in a diagonal line. The back body is in that diagonal line. Tuck your chin in so your neck and spine are in alignment, and it feels very easy to access, easy to retain. So pressing your hands into your thighs is when we're going to lift up through the perineum. Exhale, release. So find that rhythm of movement. This is a very familiar practice that we've done with the toning of the perineum to support our pelvic organs, keeping that connective tissue at the very base of the pelvis very strong and toned. And this is a great method to do that. You can do it anytime, anywhere. It doesn't have to be only reserved for yoga class, that's for sure. And if you want to add the vagal tone breath, I'll just remind you of that in case you'd like to do it. It's shaping your mouth into an O shape and taking your breath as an inhale through that O, like you're sucking up a vacuum hose, and then you just soften to release it. Couple more, stay with it. Now we're going to lift up and hold it and breathe both in and out while we've got ourselves lifted up. And I want you to extend your arms away from you now. No longer hands on the thighs. Extend your arms away from you. As you lift up, press your feet to the floor so your legs are super engaged. We're still in that sort of half lift. Actually, let's extend our arms as far away from our hips as we can. Hips stay put, but we're extending our arms as far away from the hips as we can. And then now let's soften. So no longer trying to lift up through the pelvic floor and bringing yourself back up just to a neutral position, arms up overhead. Let's go back to that. You can engage the pelvic floor or not, your choice, how you'd like to proceed. But we're extending the arms away from the pelvis, and the pelvis is staying very connected to the chair seat, but you find yourself into the strength of your legs. Push your feet to the floor in case you need a little more reminder of that. Pulling your arms away from the trunk of the body, away from the pelvis as much as you're able. Pay attention to how your neck is doing. We got to manage the weight of the head. And then let's come up, lift up, all the way, and feel that relief, all that extending. This feels very neutral, doesn't it? Feels like a resting pose. We're going to do it one more time. Make sure you're well situated in your chair. I turned to the side. I hope you knew that was just for your view. You didn't need to do a thing. You don't need to do anything different. Just stay squared away in your chair like you normally do. Beautiful. Let's come back up. And when we come back up, palms will come together. Let's take our inhale. Exhale, bow to your heart. Inhale up. Exhale all the way around, all the way around. Let's do a little reset of the body. I need a little reset myself, so I had to take a time out there. So any kind of movement your body is needing, let's invite that. Good. I'm going to bring legs back into center, back within the framework of your hips. So you're trying to bring your legs right back into the framework of the hips. And let's scoop one of the legs up, get a hold of the underside of your thigh, and start by tick-tocking. We're into the knee joint here. I want you to just see if you can let your legs swing. Use the shin bone if you're trying to figure out how you're supposed to access this. You know, shin bone is just going to tick-tock side to side. So you're getting a little movement in the lateral range of your knee. And then up and down, that one's familiar. So it's just a straight leg and a bent knee. Various ranges we're going to explore through the knee joint. Let's go back to that tick-tock side to side. And now see if you can circle that. Think about a rag doll, that your leg is just sort of hanging there like a rag doll, and use your shin bone. Everybody gets real tempted to start circling their foot around, which is the ankle. That's when we're into the ankle. This is still in the knee. So just have that sort of, now change the direction of that. Yeah, the mind says, wait a second, I just barely got a hang of that one. So just see if you can just come back to a circular direction. And we're going to go the familiar route of just straight leg, bent knee, straight leg, bent knee. Good. Let's hike that up. Really hug that knee into the chest. Grab hold of your shins. Pull in. Circle the foot. Change the direction anytime you want. Keep your spine strong and long. Find your breath. Spread your toes. Try really spreading your toes apart. Real big hug. Flexed foot. Big hug. Keep breathing. And we'll release that all the way down. Now, if there's any reset in your body, time to do that now. Let's scoop up the other leg. And we'll just do that little tick-tock. So we're trying to just let the leg move side to side. Shin bone is sort of doing the work. It takes a little bit of movement, a little bit of practice to get yourself into releasing your overriding desire to just control the heck out of this. You're trying to just let it swing. Side to side movement through the knee joint. That's a lateral flexibility there that some of us lose, but it's there. You know, we have the capability. And then let's just go forward and back. So we got the leg swinging out to the front, and so it's just a straight leg followed by a bent knee. This one's common. We can do that easily. And back to the side movement. So we can kind of see if we can get the hang of that again. Letting it move side to side. And then let's incorporate a circular movement now. So really feel like a ragdoll leg. You're really trying to just let the leg hang there. It's kind of like we're doing a little double duty here because you're using your strength of your arms to hold up that heavy leg now. So that's kind of a bonus. You're going to get stronger biceps out of the deal. And now let's change the direction of that circular movement. So there we go. Letting it just hang. Shin bone is doing a circular movement, and then that's the kind of range you're creating in your knee joint. Nice. Let's come back up now. We're going to squeeze, get a hold of our shin and squeeze that leg up into the chest body here, and then we're going to move the foot around. Change the direction anytime you want to. Feel strong with your spine. Plant your standing foot. That other leg, that's your standing leg. Just make sure it's very grounded for you so you got a lot of stability. Good. Now, before we move on to get back with both feet to the floor, let's just go ahead and stay with this side and lay into that figure 4. So I want you to just, again, we're finding the range of movement. We found some range of movement in our knee. We're encouraging that now. Flex your foot. We're massaging to take away that first layer of resistance. And right away, I want you to get into getting hold of your shin. So I scoop underneath the calf. I got a good hold of my ankle/heel. That's a great way for me to find a horizontal line with my shin so I can start moving around. Keep the grounding leg, that standing leg, that foot really planted down. So you've got the freedom of movement to circle, to go side to side. Just do whatever grabs you. Really, whatever just strikes you as appropriate, what your body's sort of interested in doing. Find a real, we're looking for sensation here. We're kind of moving around to see where is there some tight spots. And I find it kind of, a happy place when I'm thinking, I feel pretty loose. I feel pretty good. There's a range of movement here that feels pretty easy. I like that. Now we're going to cross that all the way over to the other side. Cross it as far over there so that you can cross your legs and layer those thighs together. Just squeeze that. Let's center the feet. So we've got ourselves centered within the frame of the chair here. This is a great setup. It binds our legs together. It's a great setup for a little twisting action. So inhale with me up, lift up, exhale down. We're going to get another lift now. Inhale, lift up, and then turn towards your right. So you're just turning away from the way your knees are pointing, the way your knees are stacked over on that side. We're moving to the other side, and then find your balance in your pelvis and set up your twist. Keep your spine long. Keep your head positioned well in relationship to your spine. Use your hands and arms connecting to your body, connecting to the chair to support your twist in any way you find, that it's working well for you, that it gives you the stability you're looking for. And yet it's challenging so that your body has to do some work here to create this twist. And then, of course, we got to find our breath all the way through the cycle, in and out. Let's unwind the head. Let's unwind the shoulders. And then without using your hands to support it, we're just going to bring that down and back. So this is easy, right? Just a cross-legged down and back. No support of hands. That's just going to give you more strength of core. When we come here, see if you can do the same thing here into the figure 4. So a little massaging, little making sure your pelvis is balanced right to left. And then we're coming into this. Wide movement, finding range of movement all the way around, high, low, feel the sensation. That's what we're looking for. And then cross it way past center, and let's just layer it up. Center those knees, center your pelvis. Inhale with me, lift up. We got to lengthen through the side body. Exhale down. Lift up. Exhale, twist, other way. Set yourself up, long spine, using your arms and hands to help you in any way you need. Keep yourself balanced in your pelvis so you're not leaning. And then back to the breath. Maybe you need to catch up with your breath. I'm kind of finding that to be true for me and my body. I'm going to catch up with my breath here. Keep the softness about your mouth. Relax your tongue and your jaw. And then let's unwind the head and then the shoulders. And then let's come back to foot to the floor. So no hands as we just recross the leg and back. Beautiful. I want you to just tilt yourself back so that you can bring yourself up and off the chair. So a couple of those rocks where you tilt yourself back. I'm trying to keep my arms out of the picture here. So it's just really the strength of my abdominals that's helping me do this. And then lifting all the way up to a standing position. Make sure your feet are hips distance apart and that they're straight. Pull in the belly wall so you feel real strong in that core. Remember, we're going to have a little softness about the knee. Palms face forward. Close your eyes if you're comfortable with that now. Because what we want to find here is a full body expression of our breathing. We want to feel it as a full body experience. So you can use maybe a method you have found to be helpful. And if you're looking for some guidance with that, I start with the breath at the soles of the feet, like I'm trying to draw breath from the earth. Inhale it up through the front of my body, ascending the body from the front as I inhale. Exhale as it drops back through the back side of the body, all the way back to the feet. So the inhale is an ascension. The exhale is a descension. And it covers the length of your body. One more breath like that, all the way through the cycle. We're going to flutter the eyes open. And we're going to come near the chair to support some additional movement. Let's get the chair handy enough that it's easily touched. Have a little wider stance with your feet. And every time you turn, you're going to lift the heel up. So this is what the legs are doing. You're turning your body and you kind of lift onto the toes. So you've got one standing leg as being the primary support. And then of course we got to get a little more movement. So here's where you might want the chair to be of use, that you could touch the chair. So I'm going to suggest you just start with one side at a time, holding the chair. And if you don't need it, then just bring your hand to your waist, or you could move both arms. That could be another way to do it so that you're really getting both arms to move, your choice. But notice how you're going to lift up the heel of that one leg. So when you're flowing, it feels kind of almost like a dance move. Just find the rhythm of your breath here and extend, just to really feel like, because what we're working on here is that left side of the body. Just really kind of honoring the left side of the body, because the energies side to side, right side of the body, left side of the body have different energies associated, different ways that we govern ourselves coming from this side of the body. So we're just honoring that. Let's lift and hold. So we're in that extended position. Lift and hold. Let's see if we can get rid of the hand on the chair and reach both arms up. Both arms parallel to each other. Lift up, look up. Now your back heel should be up off the ground. You're almost just on your toes or on the ball of the foot. Beautiful. And when you come out of that, let's see if we can bring palms together. Both feet are back to the floor. Palms are together overhead. Bow to yourself as you exhale. Inhale up and take a big backstroke to come out. I'm going to move the chair. You might not need to at all. So we're coming back to that movement. Maybe we start with the chair. On the other side, now we're honoring the other side of the body, the other energy, that they're different side to side. Take care of your head and neck, but include movement if that's possible. Be sure to include that movement. I'm going to release the chair and let both arms do some moving. Let's lift and hold now. Either you can touch the chair if that's a better choice for you, or bring both arms up so your arms are parallel. Lift up. Look up. Breathe through your whole body and just focus the fact that you're really emphasizing and honoring this right side of your body. Beautiful. Both feet to the floor, palms will come together overhead. Inhale with me. Exhale, bow into your heart. Inhale up and exhale all the way around. Great. We're going to use the back of the chair to support our extended forward fold. So let's just get our hands onto that chair and back away, creating a right angle in your body, hinging at the hips, extending your arms long and strong past your head, past your ears. Bring some body weight into the toes, not just the heels, and see if you can straighten out the back of the knee a little bit. See if you can offer a little more effort now in straightening out the legs. Deepen your breath. Keep your gaze at the floor. One more breath in and out. Pull back through the buttocks. And when you come up, I want you to take a big step forward with your right foot, bent knee. Both feet stay flat. So if the stance, the distance between your feet needs to be adjusted, just don't hesitate. Just go ahead and pop your back foot a little closer to the front or whatever you need to do so that both feet are flat-footed, one knee bent. This is our warrior one position. I'm going to opt for the proud warrior, where we put our mitten hands on and we lift those arms extended and let those shoulder blades stay down into this proud warrior position. Pull in the belly. Feel the rooting in both your feet and also the rooting that you can imagine through the tailbone, straight down. Palms will come together. Let's take an inhale here. Exhale, bow to your heart. Inhale up. Both hands come back to the chair. And this time when you step back, let's see if we can get that right leg to extend back behind us. So we're balancing on one leg. This is the warrior three position, where we have our balance on one leg and the back leg is extending right back behind us. Straight leg, but it doesn't have to be hip height. It could be, but you're still doing it if you've got your foot 4 inches above the floor. That's still the pose. So don't worry of how you're extending. Beautiful. Both feet to the floor. Bend your knees a lot while you're coming out of that. And let's take a pause. Just stand up in your mountain pose and catch up with your breathing. And don't move. I'm going to move the chair, but I bet you don't have to. So you just stand there and allow your body to adjust from that inversion that you did. Let's do it again. We want to do the same. We want to do our warrior positions on the other side. We start with the extended fold. That's a good stretch. And this time we're going to step forward with the other foot. I think I'm on right leg forward, but be sure you're stepping forward with the other leg. Square your hips so those hip headlights are shining to the chair. Both feet are down now. You got both soles of the feet are down. And the proud warrior returns. This is our warrior one. Hands are in a mitten hand kind of position where your fingers are connected, thumbs point back, and you lift up your chest. Be sure you connect with your full breath cycle here. Excellent. Hands are coming back down. We're going to step back and stretch that out. And then immediately here, shift your body weight into your right foot. So your left leg now, your other leg is extended back behind you, straight leg back. So just make sure you're on different legs from what we did initially. So both legs get a chance to hold us up and support that, strengthening of the bone mass of that standing leg. And both legs get to go airborne. So we want both to happen. Warrior 3. Beautiful. Both feet to the floor. Let's start walking toward the chair. And just come upright. Find your mountain pose right away. And let your breath start to even out. Let your blood pressure settle. Maybe closing your eyes so you can really feel the experience of all of that from the inside out. There's no distraction. You can really experience it in your body. Let's meet near the chair where your standing leg is near the chair, and you can have a hand there. And we're going to just lift a high knee up and rotate it out. So let's see, you can do that by scooping your hand underneath your leg to help guide it, or to do it with just the strength of the leg. And the version of a one-legged balance, our sort of revised tree pose, is going to be to keep that leg extended. We're not going to bring the sole of the foot down. And see if you can let your hands come away from your body, away from the chair, and find this as another version of doing a tree pose. Settle into a breath that's coming in and out, in and out. Now keep your arms up, but let's get both feet to the floor. Inhale, palms up. Exhale, bow to the heart. Inhale up. And exhale, go all the way around. I want you to do that one more time. A big backstroke. I'm moving the chair to set up other side. We've got the standing leg near the chair. Lift up that high knee and rotate it off to the side. So use your hands if that works better. Just guiding that leg is just perfectly fine, to kind of use your hands and touch the body so that you feel a sense of grounding and stability. If you're working to, develop a little more balance, a little more core strength, you might take your hand away from your leg. Find your breath. Now we're going to do that revised position here of a tree pose, keeping the knee bent and the foot's way up. And then we're going to let go of the chair if we can, and let our arms extend away from our body any way you want, any creative way you want. Find a drishti, find a focal point of your eyes that will help with the balance. Exhale completely. Let's bring all of it down. And let's just bring our hands to the prayer position. Actually, let's layer our hands onto the chest bone. Close your eyes now. Just be here for a moment. Bringing yourself, into the heart center, moving our awareness of ourself from the thinking mind into the feeling heart. Oftentimes, yoga is said to be an invitation to move from thinking and doing into feeling and being. Beautiful. Let's release the arms and open the eyes. Let's do a downward dog before we finish our movement and come into Shavasana. So for now, let's turn the chair so we've got the seat of the chair available for downward facing dog. A guideline I like to use is the distance that you have between your hands on the chair should be the same distance between your feet on the floor. Now, again, we're trying to stretch the back of those knees, trying to stretch the calves, whatever we need. What's the tightness back there in our legs? Let's try to stretch through it a little bit so it feels like we're in our maximum capacity here of stretching it out, grounding our feet to the floor. And if you found that to do this pose that's, accessible to you, you need to at least lift one heel at a time up, or that you need a little wider stance between your feet, by all means do that. Let's deepen the breath. Let's everybody deepen the breath. Exhale completely. Move your awareness into your buttocks and stretch back. That's it. Let's start walking toward the chair. We're going to have a rounded back, a very rounded back. We need a bend of the knee. Drop your head down, chin is down towards your throat. And then you're going to come up one vertebrae at a time. Your head will be the last to lift up. And again, we're going to pause. Find a nice, purposeful position. Strike your mountain pose, for example. So it's purposeful as you just wait it out as your body adjusts. And you start to feel now, let's zoom in on the experience within that we could identify as prana, that experience of life force energy. So it feels like a electric charge. I often refer to it as just this feeling of aliveness. And that's very real. That's not an imagined experience. That's very real within your body, that charge. Beautiful. Let's make our way to the chair now. Let's have a seat. If there's any movement your body is still craving, if there's still in the, some more stretching, some kind of thing that your body needs to do it right now. Right now is a good time before you set yourself up into your shavasana, because shavasana is intended to be a point of stillness where you're no longer moving. You've committed yourself to relaxing and resting without interruption. We're just that's kind of our goal, is to really dedicate ourselves to stillness while we come into shavasana. So, like I said, if you need to stretch and move, and certainly if you need to, get some support, get some props, or that you like to relocate yourself to a lounge chair or a couch, something like that. Now's a good time. We'll get yourself situated so that you can settle in and come into stillness. As soon as you're comfortable doing so, relax your hands on your lap, or maybe layer your hands on your heart space if that's a good way for you to start. Closing your eyes, of course, but finding now a particular breath practice, which is going to be, just a point to point reference in your body. Start the breath from the center of your pelvis and let that ascend to the top of your head. And as you exhale, you'll go right back down the spine to the center of your pelvis. And just do that point to point reference, ascending the breath up through the central channel to the crown of the head, and exhale it back down to the center of your pelvis. And with each exhale, feel the letting go experience that is sort of built in to the exhalation. Inhale is more like a filling up, of including all of the, energy or the love or the gentle, tender regard that you want to bring into yourself and let it be in yourself. And then as you exhale, it's like letting go of everything that keeps you from experiencing that beautiful connection to yourself. Maybe it's just releasing tension that you feel the let go has to, that's what the let go has to do with. Maybe it's thought processes that are just cycling and cycling through your mind that are just not helpful. Maybe that's the letting go. But let your breath stay with the image that you've created, point to point reference, center of your pelvis up through the spine or up through the central channel to the crown of the head. Exhale as it descends back to the center of the pelvis. And then within just a few more breaths, I'll bet the image is no longer difficult or even required, that you feel the natural rhythm of that. It just seems to take over as the natural flow of your breath right now. Be sure to soften the tongue, relax your mouth and your facial muscles. Soften your shoulders and your neck. And feel the fullness of your breath. Let the chair be a total source of support, and that you're welcoming the support. And I use that word intentionally because we can apply it to our lives so much better, that we need and we invite support in our lives. Remember, full breath in, full breath out. And let's employ a different technique, a very common one that we use often, but just changing from the point to point references of the body, simply changing now to the use of mantra. And as you inhale, say the word deep. And as you exhale, say silently to yourself the word slow. So your breath has this quality of deep and slow. In the natural flow of your breath, you can feel the deep inhale and the slow exhale. So use mantra now to stay focused on this time of stillness. If you find your mind wandering away from what we're doing, just acknowledge that and come right back to deep and slow. There's no judgment about it. That's what the mind does. So gently bring yourself back to the rhythm of this breath, here and now. Inhale deep, exhale slow. We're going to change our mantra using the words calm and ease. Inhale, calm, and exhale, ease. Feel the calm in your body. Feel the ease of your breath. The poem that matched up to our intention today is Surely This Is Love. I am intimately connected with all that is. When you water your roots, my heart blossoms. When I see you smile, that's when I know I'm fully alive. As you are able to live in truth, I raise the roof on this house I am exploring. I throw the doors wide, let the breeze blow in the windows. When you grow, I know it as my own opening. You stretch, I breathe, I give, and you receive. Just beneath the fabric of our lives, coiled, ready to spring or budding like a rose, reaching out to embrace or sitting, bathed in grace and stillness, this singing, circling, radiant one with everything, surely this is love. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale it out of the mouth with a sigh. Another breath like that, and a cleansing breath. Let it out with a sigh. And now we're starting to introduce movement back into the body. Perhaps you're getting your feet back on the floor. You're situating yourself so that you can be now once again in an upright, well-aligned position of your back body. And if there's any stretching that needs to happen now, once we start transitioning out of our point of stillness, just introduce that movement in your body as your body, kind of instructs you. You're just following the lead of what your body needs. Let's take a big inhale now as we reach arms up and overhead. Palms will come together. As you exhale, we're bowing into the heart. Inhale back up. And exhale, take a big sweeping action as we share this loving energy with our communities. Palms come back to the prayer position. We bow to ourselves and we bow to this sangha. I think that's what the reading was really all about, was just recognizing the value of this connection we have to others. And I certainly feel that connection to all of you. So we bow to ourselves and we bow to one another. Namaste, my friends. And thanks so much for joining me.